What's up, everyone? It's your host Ghost coming to you live with another wonderful video. How y'all doing? Um, oh no, mind blinked for a second. I don't know why. Oh, probably because I just woke up. um, uh, so just got a few things today. Nothing super intense. So hold on, just gotta pull something up. There we go. Gonna have that just in case. Well, I doubt anyone's gonna super chat me or anything, but figured I'd just double check. Forehead, goddamn. All right, so just got a few things today. Really just two. As in the title. Oh, sorry. We're going to talk about affirmative action being knocked down by the Supreme Court when it comes to college administrations. We're going to look at the tweet of a leftist that said the quiet part out loud. And then we're going to go to my news segment. I'm thinking about trying to start and see how it takes off. Father pill. If you read the description, I mentioned, we got red pill, we got blue pill, we got purple pill, we got black pill. Probably that's either we will have or do have a freaking magenta pill going on. Sorry, there we go. So I figured we'd talk about something that's probably not really talked about is father pill, or I'm naming it father pill until I can come up with a better name. It's more just like a mockery of the other pills. But yeah, I was inspired by it, because I was watching Nick Rekieta, Rekieta Law. He was doing one of his call-in shows on a Friday, or I don't know, whatever. He was doing a call-in show and he was talking to someone, and the guy was telling him, was asked him a question: how come there's not any push to get married and have kids for men nowadays? And realized that was pretty true. Even with my own family, it was never a big push to try and go get married and have kids and all that stuff. But anyway, that's what inspired me to, maybe talk about do something like this. I haven't decided if it's going to be one of those every day, every week type of thing, or once a month. Oh, sorry. But it'll probably definitely be a Friday type thing. I do hope at some point I'll get guests on and we can discuss, fatherhood and what it's like, and how they felt the first time they, had that announcement as a kid, talking to, various things dealing with fatherhood and whatnot. That's my plan for it. I'm gonna, try and get it started today, see if it's, received well. But anyways, I don't think I got it to a point where I can make it an entire show. And I don't think it'll ever be just an entire show. I think it'll be, just something I tack on to the end of it. Maybe talk a good half hour about it. Then have something else. But yeah, that's the idea behind it. So we'll get into that a little later. Oh, sorry. I just woke up, but I made sure to wake up a little extra early so I could actually wake up when I. So I'm not, exhausted as hell when I do this. All right. Anyways, so let's get to this topic. So yesterday, SCOTUS delivers a blow to affirmative action. Now, affirmative action is, you have you factor in race when it comes to various subjects, whether it's work, school, all that stuff. It's the idea behind it is to give individuals of color a better chance over white people. But it's developed into being pretty much far more racist than before. Um, and it's kind of obvious because of the reaction we're getting from it being struck down. Let's see if we can get a definition. Affirmative action is defined as the practice or policy of favoring individuals belonging to groups regarding as disadvantaged or subject to discrimination. And that's really generally seen like as, black people, really. Latino people too, probably. Not Asians, but mostly black people. Hold on, just trying to get some more. Maybe. So what it's referred to when we talk about affirmative action, what was struck down yesterday, it's generally the college admittance when it comes to affirmative action. It's that idea um, that sorry, just making sure you're okay. But God, I can't. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. Um. Anyways, when it comes to what was struck down, it was generally, it was towards the affirmative action that was in colleges like Harvard and University of North Carolina in particular. But obviously, something like this generally will widespread when it comes to colleges. So what I'm trying to freaking. But I mean, this came about really when, like say, you're a black student and you're applying for an Ivy League school, and you went up against a white person or Asian person. Um, you basically like it'd be on a point system, and if you're black, you'd end up getting, or maybe Hispanic as well, but you'd end up getting some extra points. Like say you went up against an Asian person, same everything, scores, everything was the same, but you're black, you get like an extra, 10 points or something like that compared to the Asian student, making it more likely you would get in over nothing more than your race. Um, that's like that's really the basics of it really. Just trying to find out. Such a pain in the ass to find shit when you know it's there. Whatever. All right, so we'll just get into this articles. All right, so let's get into these articles. All right, let's get into it. Since my mind can't seem to focus, we'll just get into this. So, landmark ruling delivers blow to affirmative action. This is from Newser, whatever the fuck that is. Supreme Court delivered a landmark ruling on Thursday against affirmative action, reported the Washington Street Journal. In a 6-3 ruling that split along the court's usual ideological lines, the justice struck down admission policies that took race into account at Harvard and the University of North Carolina, per the Washington Post. Whatever. Let's see. Sorry. A key point in the majority opinion written by Chief Justice Roberts: the student must be treated based on his or her experience as an individual, not the basis of race, he wrote. Many universities have for too long done just the opposite, and in doing so, they concluded wrongly that the touchstone of an individual's identity is not challenges bested, skills built, or lessons learned, but the color of the skin. Our constitutional history does not tolerate that choice. Though the ruling dealt with admission policies at only 2 colleges, the implications are huge for both colleges and the American workplace in general, noted USA Today. Quick assessment from the New York Times. The decision was expected to set off a scramble as schools revisit their admission practices. It could complicate diversity efforts elsewhere, narrowing the pipeline of highly credited minority candidates and making it harder for employees to consider race in hiring, which is good. Challengers to the admissions policy called them unfair to white and Asian students by giving preference to Black, Hispanic, and Native American applicants. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote in dissent that the decision rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress, per the AP. And in a separate dissent, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson called the decision truly a tragedy for all of us. Brown Jackson is the court's first female Black justice, and that's the only reason she was picked, according to Biden. It was funny. I saw something from the Babylon Bee. They said that the Supreme Court knocks down affirmative action while having an affirmative action person sitting right next to him. So that was pretty fucking funny to me. All right, so we're gonna go to CNN. And CNN says, what does the Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action does and does not do? Oh, another thing about affirmative action is because of affirmative action. Oh, shoot, I don't have my banner. Where would you guys go if I don't have my super cool banner? Still didn't even put it on. There it is. Oh, man. World almost came to an end there. You know what? I'm not going to. Maybe we'll look at this in a second, but I got something else that's a little more better. Politico. Okay, so Supreme Court gets affirmative action in college admissions. The Supreme Court on Thursday dealt a major blow to affirmative action in higher education, striking down conscious admission programs at Harvard and University of North Carolina. In a ruling divided along ideological lines, the High Court's sixth justice conservative majority found that the university discriminated against white and Asian applicants by using race-conscious policies that benefit applicants from underrepresented backgrounds. Chief Justice Roberts wrote the majority opinion, and the three liberal justices dissented. Eliminating racial discriminations means eliminating all of it, Roberts wrote. The decision undercuts long-standing admission policies at elite colleges and universities that use race as one of many factors in evaluating applicants. Those policies relied on prior Supreme Court cases that permitted the use of race as part of a holistic process meant to promote a diverse student body. But Thursday's ruling appeared to find most of those programs unlawful. Yeah. Education and civil rights groups say that ending the use of race-conscious admission policies will exacerbate equality for years to come. Many pointed to the public institutions that struggle to enroll diverse freshman classes in 9 states that have already banned the practice. Well, okay, so I mean, there's multiple reasons for that. It could just mean that, the only reason that the diversified freshman classes was, it's kind of just like the states that banned the practice. It kind of is proving the point that the only reason these people are getting in are based on race and not by their own actual merit. And if, we go on merit and they're not able to do it, then yeah, of course. I don't think we should be struggling for diversification for just diversity's sake. I think we should want the best people, regardless of skin tone, in these classes or employment or whatever. I don't think it's a smart idea just to have diversity for diversity's sake. I think we should have, if we're going to have, if we get diversity, great, but the main focus shouldn't be, let's make sure we're diverse. The main focus should be, we should have the best people in these areas. Should be that. Oh, Lord. All right. In decisions going back more than 40 years, the Supreme Court had upheld the limited use of affirmative action to promote diversity. While Roberts stopped short of explicitly overturning those precedents, Thursday, his majority opinion appeared to render them dead letters in practice. In fact, Justice Clarence Thomas, who joined Roberts' opinion, and Justice Soya Sotomayor, who dissented, both wrote in separate opinions that Thursday's decision was overturning the prior cases without officially saying so. Roberts, for his part, wrote that universities had committed unlawful discrimination by categorizing students by race, and giving preference to Black and Hispanic applications. Harvard and UNC admissions program cannot be reconciled with the guarantees of the Equal Protection Clause, referring to the provision of the 14th Amendment that bars the government from discriminating on the basis of race. Both programs lack suffice focus and measured objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidable employee race in negative manner, involving racial stereotypes, and lack of meaningful endpoints. We have never permitted admission programs to work in that way, and we will not do so today. Chief Justice stressed in his ruling, however, the court was not entirely prohibiting schools from taking accounts of applicants' experience related to race, as long as the factor aren't a subterfuge for explicitly consideration of race. Nothing in his opinion should be construed as prohibiting universities from considering applications discussion of how race affected his or her life, but be it through discrimination, inspiration, or otherwise. But despite this dissension assertion to the contrary, Universities may not simply establish through application essays or other means the regime we hold unlawful today. Sorry. Justice Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Ellen Kaag dissented, or they wrote dissensions, or at least the two women, or these two women wrote dissensions. Whatever. Okay. And again, Jackson is Biden's only appointee to the highest court, the newest member. And she recused herself on the Harvard case because she served for years on one of Harvard's governing board, but she participated in the North Carolina case. And again, just want to point this out. The only reason Ketanji Brown Jackson got picked was because she was black. And we know that because Biden specifically said, oh, well, she's going to be black. That's what he said. All right. So Sotomayor wrote in her 69-page dissent, today, this court stands in the way and rolls back to decades of precedent and momentous progress. It holds that race can no longer be used in a limited way in college admissions to achieve such critical benefits. Look, if the benefits are benefiting a particular race and not others, then it's discriminatory. It doesn't matter if the person's black and is winning over a white person. You're discriminating based on the skin color of the white person. It's so fucking dumb. It holds that race can no longer be used. In so holding, the court cements a superficial rule of colorblindness as constitutional principle in an medically surrogated society where race has always mattered and continues to matter. So it only matters because you guys make it matter. We just read that. Okay. So Jackson wrote, our country has never been colorblind. The first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court, the High Court. The only reason she's on the High Court is because she's black. So says Joe Biden. The best that can be said of the majority perspective is that it proceeds Austria-like from the hope that preventing consideration of race will end racism. But if that is the motivation, the majority proceeds in vain. If college of this country are required to ignore a thing that matters, it will not just go away. It will take longer for racism to leave us. Ultimately, ignoring race just makes it matter more. No, it doesn't. That's so fucking dumb. So dumb. Like, oh, it's gonna make it matter more. No, look, just because you're black and you're being racist towards white people doesn't mean you're not racist. You're racist against white people. So if something's benefiting black people and not benefiting white people, and that's solely based on the skin color, that's racist. I don't know why these people are so fucking dumb. See if there's anything more interesting. All right, no. All right, so that's basically it. We're not gonna read the CNN thing. So yeah, that's basically the whole thing. Yeah, that's basically it. So yeah. Now we're gonna look at something funny. So liberals have been spurging the fuck out about this shit, and it's kind of funny. So this chick, Eric Marsh, today's Supreme Court decision is directed at Black people. No Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system, which is effectively why affirmative action-based programs were needed. Today's decision is a travesty. Now, to make it clear, Erica Marsh was a former field organizer to elect President Biden and volunteered for Obama Foundation. Then she went to try and clarify her tweet. She says, "Allow me to clarify this tweet, which is being manipulated for propaganda and misinformation by Ultra MAGA. The intention of my tweet is to highlight that prior to affirmative actions, there were actions there existed a supposedly merit-based system for Black individuals to gain admissions to college. However, these institutions employed racial profiling to prevent Black individuals from attending under the guise of these merit systems. I want to emphasize that my statement in no way suggests that Black individuals are less intelligent than other races." But that's what she fucking said, basically. No Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system. Which you're saying that unless we take into consideration their skin color, then they're not going to be able to succeed. Now, this just to show you how bad her view is. It's been viewed nearly 20 million times, and it's only got 9,000 likes. So it's been viewed a very high amount, and it's only been liked 9,000 times. It kind of tells you everything you want to know. But yeah, that's what she's like. Oh, I'm going to clarify. I'm not saying that Black people aren't intelligent, but you are. If you're saying that they can't succeed in a merit-based system, which means that we're basing nothing on your skin color and more on the merit that you bring, then yeah, you're saying they're not capable. And it's kind of funny. You're saying the quiet part out loud, and it's not being manipulated by Ultra MAGA or anything like that. It's we're just quoting what the fuck you said. Sorry. But yeah, so that's the news on affirmative action. And this all came about because Harvard was being shown to give more taking points away, basically was being discriminatory against Asians and white people in the guise of affirmative action, and this is why that lawsuit came up. So, cool. But yeah, that's the whole thing. All right, so now we're gonna get to my new segment, Father Pill. So, like I said when I was announcing it in the earlier show, I see in society that there's not a lot of fatherhood pilling stuff. Most of it's really just just be a good father type situation. Nothing specific. There's no push for guys to be fathers, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of various areas where fatherhood is not really promoted and all that. So that's really the whole point, is kind of to talk about being a father, how to be the best father, things of that nature. Again, I do hope if this takes off and I take off, this segment will be a little bigger, and I can interview YouTubers or streamers or what content creators, however you want to call them, males in specific, mostly, pretty much only, about fatherhood and their feelings of fatherhood and everything like that. That's the idea behind it. We'll see how it goes, and I hope people like it. Anyways, so let's talk about fatherhood. Fatherhood is it's the greatest thing that a guy can really achieve. Being a father, holding your newborn, it's the best feeling in the world. There's no better feeling than that is when you hold your child for the first time. I remember when I held my daughter. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Um, and that's that idea I think is really lost nowadays. Especially the nuclear family is really being eroded. Um, there's no push towards families anymore. Men are not being men anymore. Women are not women anymore, and so there's a lot of loss being dealt against families. Um, it's really just the broadest strokes of it. But but yeah. So that's that part. See, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I haven't written anything down. So it's probably not going to be the best thing ever. Not that anything I do ever really is. So, but to be a father, I guess it really starts with obviously being a man is the biggest part of it, and to be a man, um, well, before you even be a father, you got to be a man, really, right? You got to have that drive to provide for your family, and I think that's the keystone of being a man is to provide for your family. Um, and to start that, you just got to be a man. Like I said, I don't have this written down, so this is probably gonna be terrible. Hopefully, it'll get better when I get more into this. Um, this is what I agree with the red pill community. This idea that men need to start being men and start being better because let's be honest. There's a lot of wimps, guys out there that are trying to get in relationships and they don't do anything. Women generally look for men that are capable of protecting and providing, whether they admit it or not. That's what they generally are attracted to and are what they're looking for. I don't care what okay. So there are select minority of women that don't look for that are interested in that and doing the whole feminism thing where they don't need no man, they're independent, blah blah blah. All right, good for them. But the majority of women, I think, still look for a man. And we're losing that. We're losing real men. And I don't mean real men as, they go and they, get into, they beat the shit out of people. They they put their woman down or anything. I'm talking about just men that step up and will, provide and protect a woman that they care about, and will do whatever they can for the woman, for a good woman that wants to be with them. It's what I really mean when I talk about a real man. We got too many wimps that want to be like stay-at-home fathers and shit like that. It is dumb. Yes, I'm saying it's dumb. If you want to be a stay-at-home dad, you're not a man. You're a fucking loser. That's my opinion on it. Now, there's a difference between wanting to be a stay-at-home dad and, making the decision that, hey, for the best of my family, my wife makes more than me temporarily. I need to step back and be a man. But during that time of being a stay-at-home dad, you should be striving and trying to achieve to become that provider. I think that's the main job of a man is to be a provider, and to do to provide security, whether that's physical, both through physical and financial, and all that stuff. And there's obviously going to be a few amount, like I said, that they're like, hey, look, my wife makes more than me. It makes sense for me to be the stay-at-home dad because she'll be able to take care of the finance and stuff. All right, I get that, but you should be striving that entire time, whether it's upping your education or getting some, experience to eventually usurp your woman. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way that, like, you outperform her so that if she wants to, she can take a step back and raise her kid. I think women are far more happier when they're at home raising their children than men are. And more than they're far more happier as well than having to go home and make money to provide. I think women are far more happier. I think that that from just watching red pill communities like Fresh and Fit, I talk about them a lot in various videos. I think they're the best example of that. And my personal experience, when like I've always made more than my wife. Even when I met her, she was just a cashier. I worked security. And then when she was a pharmacy technician, I still worked security, but I always made more than my wife. And that wasn't, it wasn't like it wasn't the idea of that, like me doing that. It wasn't like so I could, because it wasn't so I was like, oh, I'm better than my wife. It was all right. She was my girlfriend at the time, obviously, but it's like, all right, well, I can, the more money I make, the better I can provide for her and give her a life that's a lot more secure and everything like that. And that's a thinking I think that a lot of men have that want to be in that breadwinning role. It's not like, it gets twisted by feminism that we're just trying to, like, men like me that want to provide for their woman. They just want to oppress them. No, that's not what we're thinking. I remember Andrew Tate's talking about how, like, the garbage guy who goes out every day and picks up people garbage and toss it in, picks up people garbage and, deals with that all day. They're not waking up thinking, oh, I'm going to oppress women. They're going out thinking I can provide for my family. And that's what a lot of men, I think, real men think when they go out and, strive to earn more than their woman is I can provide for my family. My wife doesn't have to work as hard. And, my children will have their mother around and all that. I think that's what generally men think about when they're in these roles. Are there those assholes that like, oh yeah, I'm better than my woman, so I'll make more money and then I can tell her what to do? Yeah, of course there are. But I don't think that's what I don't think that's generally what men are thinking. But like I said, every time I've moved the job, back to my personal experience, every time I've moved to a different job, I've had probably far more jobs than my wife has. But every time I've moved to a different job, I've started making far more money. Currently in my job, I make roughly $100K a year. It's great. It's a lot of hard work. I work 7 days a week. And then on top of this, I'm just trying to start this up. So hopefully I can make enough where I can just do this full time. And I don't mind that. Does it suck? Yes, it does. But, my wife can, because of doing this, my wife can stay home and raise our daughter. I've effectively retired my wife, and it was 100% her choice. I didn't make her, I didn't make her stay home. It was funny. When my wife became pregnant with our daughter, we were talking, and the idea was, I live in a state where, I get paternity leave from both my company that I work for and the state provides paternity leave as well. So where my wife worked, all she got was paternity leave or maternity leave from the state. So she took that. And then when she got done with that, she went back to work while I, continued with my paternity leave from my work. And then I did like 2 months of the state paternity leave. So I got to stay home with my daughter while my wife worked for a bit. The funny thing is I still made significantly more than my wife, even though she went out and worked. So That was kind of the funny part, honestly. I think I made like 1,200, like a grand or 1,200 a week. While I was on the state one, something like that. So I made significantly more than she did. And then when I went back full time, I my wife went to working 1 day a week. Now, backing up a little bit, while my wife was pregnant and we were, getting everything set, I told her, is like, I'm willing to bet that you end up deciding to be a stay-at-home mom. Um, and 6 months after, going to work and only working 1 day, she comes to me one day and she's like, I don't feel like working anymore. I would just like to just stay home and be with our daughter. And then she asked me, it's like, is that okay? And I was like, honey, we really don't need your money at all. Like the, $200 that you end up making, I can make that in like, 2 or 4 hours of work. Like it's not, the amount you're making is not significant enough. If it's not gonna, if you decide to stay home, it's no big deal. And that's a point every man should get when it comes to becoming a father. I don't, it's really tough, obviously, nowadays to be able to live on a single income. But I think every man should strive and do their utmost to achieve to the point that when you have a child, or think about having children and whatnot, that you're at that point that, if your wife doesn't want to work anymore and just wants to stay home and raise the kids, there the financial the financial hardship isn't going to be there. At that point, it's just, for her to work if she fucking wants to. That's and 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 feminism demonizes that. Like this, I remember back when feminism was a huge thing and that whole and all that crap. But like a couple of years ago, wherever, there's this guy. I don't even know his name. It was this British guy, and he was on a show talking, and they were talking about women working, and he's like, absolutely not. No woman that's with me should have to work if they don't want to. And that's what I strive for. I strive for ensuring that if my wife doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to. She still hasn't. She hasn't worked since. Trying to think. Since before our daughter was 1. She quit 6 months. Yeah, she quit like in March or something like that. What was it, 6 months? I think it was in March or June. I mean, I don't remember. See, that's how insignificant it was to me. I don't even remember when she quit, but I remember she quit like, 2 or, let's see, our daughter was born in 2021, 22. Yeah, she quit like a year ago. And that's how insignificant it is. And this is how every man should strive to be when it comes to becoming a father. I get just to wind it all the way back. It's obviously nowadays, it's kind of harder to survive on 2-person income when you first get together. And I understand that. But, as a man, you should strive that when you're at that point where you're going to have children, I think it's far more important for a child to have their mother around and their father out working than it is to, work 2 jobs to, get ahead in life, basically. That's my thinking on the whole thing. I'm just riffing on off all this. I'm just talking about what I'm thinking in the moment. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. But yeah. I think that's what we're losing nowadays. Obviously, it's a lot hard. Like I've said, it's a lot harder, but you can do it. Living within your means and ensuring that. But I think every man should strive to to retire their significant other, if they choose to. If they don't want to, like, if once our kids are all grown up and can take care of themselves sufficiently, and she wants to work, she can go ahead and fucking work. I don't give 2 shits. I'll still make more than you. And it's not that because I'm better than her because I'm a dude and I got a dick and everything. No, it's because I have that drive to ensure that I make enough that if she doesn't want, or if she wants to take a day off or more, then it's not going to be a burden on us. That's I think the main practice when it comes to becoming a father is to ensure that although you suffer from, working your ass off, like I said, I'm working 7 days a week. I'm averaging roughly 13-hour days. I'm it sucks. Like it sucks so much. You have no idea how much it sucks to work that much all the time. Uh, and that's mostly because of, taking my wife on a trip. Like not really an expensive trip, but that's mostly it. But also, it helps to ensure that our we're not struggling for day to day. We don't live paycheck to paycheck, and all that. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was saying in that part. I'm sorry, I lost one. But that's how I think men should be: is to strive to ensure that their wife doesn't have to work. And I think that's a tenet of being a father, is to ensuring that your children have their mother around to help raise them. You're not having some stranger or the state raise them. I think it's really important, especially the way now schools are. That having the option of having someone being at home with the kids is far more valuable than that extra $1,000 a week or something like that. So I guess back to the beginning of this, fatherhood. I think the step before even thinking about fatherhood is obviously becoming that man. Now, and that's what I agree with when it comes to the red pill community. That is becoming that man. So when you're out and about, you're young. I got married in 2018. I'm 28 now. Or am I 29? I'm 28 now. Hold on, how old am I? See, I don't even know how old I am. Yeah, calculator. I'm 28. All right, I'm 28. I got married in 2009. Or not 2009, 2018. So I was 24. So I've been married. Well, shit, I've been married for 4 years. Fuck. I'm about to be married for 5. Our anniversary's coming out. So I got married in 2018. We didn't have our first child, no, our only child at this point. Plans for more in the future. We didn't have our first child until 2021. So 3 years. And that was mainly, I don't think I've made my wife aware of this, but the reason we waited so long is it took that long for me to be able to be at a job where she didn't have to work as much. Once I made it to that point where essentially her job was insignificant, meaning that it was insignificant in our financial lives. Like her job was unnecessary for us to have a roof over our head, and have a couple luxuries and stuff like that. But it took me 3 years before I actually achieved that. And that's how men need to go about when it comes to wanting to become a father. You need to be at that point where your wife's job is insignificant to, the financial wellness of the family. I'm no means rich, but we live well enough that I can, my wife doesn't have work. That's basically the point. So you need to become that guy, no matter how long it takes. I'm on the fence when it comes to red pill about the whole, like they talk about, don't get married till you're 30, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry. I understand that point, especially because, around 30, that's when you want Ricada likes to talk about this too. And I generally agree with it. Once you hit 30, you're generally far more respected Um, I don't know, once you hit that 30 age, you're far more respected. You've been through life, and generally, you got your money on point, if anything else. And that's how it generally works. So I get that, but I'm not against if you find a good woman and you want to get married to her. All right, cool. That's something I disagree with, but that's back to what I'm talking about. Is back to my earlier point is before you even think about fatherhood, you need to become that guy. Meaning, you need to have either the prospects of financial wellness or be financially well. And again, that doesn't mean rich. That doesn't mean a millionaire. That just means that if your wife no longer wants to work or whatever, your job will be plenty to cover the finances. And that's what I mean by that. So at whatever age you get there, then that's the important. Um, the red pill, they talk about being fit. That's important too. I am by no means fit at all. I'm way overweight. I am working on it. That's why I cut back on some of the streaming. I don't stream my video games as often now. I'm trying to just do it on Sundays. And then on Mondays maybe, because I work a little later on Mondays. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm no means physically fit, but you do have to have some sort of fitness, mostly so you can protect your family. Sorry, I was distracted. I that bad habit. But yeah, you should definitely be fit. You need to be that guy. You gotta have that money, that discipline, and all that. And that's what I agree with the red pill community. Before you even think about fatherhood, marriage, or anything like that, you need to be on your way of financial readiness, on your way to be, or you need to be that guy. I don't, and what I mean on the way, if you're young 20, young 20s, mid 20s, but you're working towards, having that money and you find a good woman, then there's nothing wrong with, being with her, settling down and all that. I disagree with the red pill community on that part. And I don't think that, they necessarily don't mean that that's not okay to do. But I could be wrong about that. But anyways, but that's what but fucking hell, man. Mine's just blanking. But anyways, back to what I was saying is, yeah, just you need to be a man, and being a man is the first step in becoming a father. You need to strive to just, provide, and the willingness to protect your family and everything like that. That's the whole tenement of being a father and being a man is to, provide for your family and protect your family at all costs. So you need to have that strive in you and that discipline in you to achieve that before you even think about having a fatherhood. You don't, there's too many deadbeat dads out there that don't give a fuck about the kids that they've made, and you don't want to be one of those guys. You want to actually care about the life you bring into this world, and it starts off by just being that guy where you're disciplined, you make your money, you ensure that your finances are taken care of. You got a good head on your shoulders, and then from there, from that point, if you don't have that foundation, it's going to be a struggle to be a good father. And that's the point of this segment is talking about fatherhood and everything. But before we can even get into that, we got to start with step one, and that's step one is being a good man, a hardworking man. So I think that's a very important part. And instead of going, that's going to be the journey of this segment, is going through the various steps to becoming a good father, and then we'll get down to fatherhood. So that's what I'm going to leave off today. Is to strive to be a good man. You need to be, got your money on point. You got to be, working towards being fit. I didn't start that part until, fairly recently. So, I'm not knocking anyone at this point. I can't yell at anyone being fat while I'm fat myself. But yeah, that's the first step, is just becoming a man. We got too many wimps out there, too many simps, too many losers, and everything like that. And so it's no wonder women are going out and trying to become basically the men that they desire. So that's the beginning. You got to be a man first. And we're losing that nowadays. Anyways, that's the first part of the segment. I don't know how often I'll do this. Maybe I'll continue doing more. That was just a flowing thing. I don't have anything written down. This probably explains why I'm doing so terrible at it. That's okay. It's a process. But again, I feel like fatherhood is something that we're not talking about anymore. Like I said, I was inspired to do this when I was listening to Ricada Law's live call-in show, and there was no push to becoming a father. And you there's steps before you can even become a father, but there's no push for it. There's no one trying to encourage that idea and everything. Anyways, I hope you guys liked my video. I know this is a little different than what I normally do. I hope you liked it though. I'll keep going at it. Even if it doesn't take off, I'll probably just keep going at it, because I think it's a very important thing that we don't talk about, is fatherhood. And I do hope I could bring, some individuals that are fathers, and we'll discuss their experience as fatherhood. Because the fatherhood is, no matter what you do, when you become a father, fatherhood is gonna be it's going to be just I don't even know how to explain it. Like, until you're a father, you don't understand how the hurdle that you have to take, the patience, the discipline. It's kind of crazy what it's like, really. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you like it. Oh, again, sorry, I just keep thinking about this, and my mind just wandering. I probably have some various form of ADHD. But yeah, you don't understand what it's like to be a father until you become one. There's no way to really prepare you, but at least I'm hoping to help get some men's mindsets in order to do the best that do a lot better than they could if they didn't have this information. So stay tuned. Look at more of my videos on this. I'm sure I'll keep this up and everything. Man, finally done. I can go back to bed. I'm tired. I need more sleep. Anyways, make sure to follow me on my Twitter at official W Ghost. It's that banner scrolling there. Makes everything a little easier for everyone. Follow me on Rumble with Ghost and Gaming with Ghost, on YouTube with Ghost, and Kick Gaming with Ghost. Like I said, I do a morning show for an hour, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I'll be gaming probably 4 hours on Sundays when I can, and a couple hours, 1 or 2 hours on Monday. So make sure to check out those various channels. I hope you liked the video. I hope you have a good day. Um, and again, and the reason I started this father pill thing is because June's Father's Day happens in June, so that's why I started on June. Um, it's the last day of June. Just realized that's the last day of June today, so that's the perfect way to end the month is talk about fatherhood. I'll announce when I talk about fatherhood again. I don't know when I'll do it, but I'll do it eventually. Maybe I'll probably try and do it whenever there's a slow news day. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you all have a good day. And make sure you like and follow me. All right. Peace out. Have a good day, y'all.